At sunrise in Cambodia, the sky glows with a deep fire. Out of the morning haze, a silhouette rises, 5 lotus-shaped towers, a vast moat glinting like molten gold, and walls that seem to stretch on forever. This is Angkor Wat, the largest religious monument on Earth, and one of the most enduring mysteries of human history. Angkor Wat is more than a temple. It is a city in stone, a map of the universe, and a monument that has outlasted its empire by centuries. For nearly 900 years, it has stood against time, weather, and war. It has survived the rise and fall of dynasties, the creeping jungle, and even modern conflict. But its true story is still incomplete. How was it built? Why was it constructed on such a staggering scale? And why, after all this time, does it still refuse to give up its secrets? The story of Angkor Wat begins in the early 12th century, during the reign of King Suryavarman II. He ruled the Khmer Empire, then the most powerful force in Southeast Asia. His ambitions were as vast as his empire, and Angkor Wat was his boldest project. Unlike most Khmer temples dedicated to Shiva, Suryavarman chose Vishnu, the preserver, as the focus of his monument. This alone was unusual, but more unusual still was the vision itself. A temple that would not only honor a god, but embody the entire cosmos. To step into Angkor Wat is to step into a map of the universe. The massive moat is the cosmic ocean. The outer walls are the distant mountains. The concentric courtyards are the levels of heaven. And at the center, the 5 towers rise as the peaks of Mount Meru, the sacred mountain of Hindu cosmology, believed to be the axis of the world. The temple was not just a building, it was a diagram of existence, carved into stone and made large enough for humans to walk through. The sheer size of Angkor Wat is difficult to comprehend. The complex covers more than 160 hectares, larger than many modern cities. Its main enclosure alone is nearly 200 meters wide. The central tower rises over 200 feet into the air, dominating the landscape. Yet the most astonishing detail is the material. Sandstone quarried from the Kulin Hills, 30 miles away. Millions of blocks, each weighing several tons, were cut, transported, and assembled with a precision that defies imagination. Some stones were floated down rivers during the flood season, others dragged overland across roads, reinforced just for the task. The logistics rival the construction of the pyramids in Egypt or the great cathedrals of Europe, yet the Khmer achieved it with simple tools: ropes, sledges, and sheer human strength. Inside, the details are even more astonishing. The walls are covered with bas-reliefs stretching nearly a half-mile in length, making them the largest continuous carvings in the world. They depict battles, processions, and entire mythological cycles. The most famous shows the churning of the ocean of milk, a cosmic tug-of-war between gods and demons, using a serpent wrapped around a mountain as a rope. The ocean boils, treasures rise to the surface, and the nectar of immortality is born. The reliefs are both art and scripture, stories meant to teach as much as they impress. Then there are the apsaras, celestial dancers. More than 3,000 of them are carved into Angkor Wat, no two alike. Each has unique jewelry, hairstyle, expression, and gesture. They embody grace, beauty, and divine charm, but they also show the discipline of a culture where artisans could carve for years without repeating a single face. Even in weathered stone, their smiles feel alive, as if the dance has only just begun. The temple's alignment adds another layer of mystery. Unlike most Khmer temples, Angkor Wat faces west. In Hindu tradition, west is associated with Vishnu, but also with death. This has led some scholars to argue that Angkor Wat was intended not only as a temple, but also as Suryavarman's mausoleum. Others point to astronomical alignments. On the spring equinox, the sun rises directly over the central tower, as though the temple itself is keeping time with the heavens. This suggests that Angkor Wat was designed as both shrine and observatory, a calendar in stone. But Angkor Wat was only the centerpiece of a much larger city. The Khmer capital of Angkor stretched across hundreds of square miles, making it one of the largest pre-industrial cities on Earth. Recent LiDAR scans have revealed a grid of streets, canals, suburbs, and hidden temples buried beneath the jungle. At its peak, Angkor may have housed nearly 1 million people, fed by vast rice fields watered through a complex hydraulic system. Reservoirs, or barrays, stored monsoon rains. Canals carried water to paddies during the dry months. This mastery of water allowed the Khmer to feed a massive population and sustain monumental building projects for centuries. Daily life in Angkor would have been vibrant. Farmers tended rice paddies, craftsmen carved stone and bronze, traders brought goods from India and China. Priests led rituals in the temples, while nobles commissioned art and architecture to cement their power. At night, the towers of Angkor Wat would have glowed in torchlight, its courtyards filled with the smoke of incense and the chanting of prayers. For the Khmer, religion and daily life were inseparable. The temple was not only a sacred place, but a political statement, a reminder that the king's power was sanctioned by the gods themselves. Yet even empires that seem eternal can fall. By the 14th and 15th centuries, Angkor was in decline. The reasons remain debated. Climate records show that Southeast Asia endured decades of severe drought, followed by devastating floods. The delicate water system that sustained Angkor may have collapsed. Wars with neighboring kingdoms, particularly Ayutthaya in modern Thailand, drained resources and weakened defenses. Trade routes shifted, leaving Angkor isolated. Archaeological evidence shows parts of the city burned and abandoned. Slowly, the jungle reclaimed the land. But unlike the city around it, Angkor Wat endured. It was never fully abandoned. As Cambodia embraced Buddhism, the temple shifted with it. Vishnu gave way to the Buddha, and the galleries echoed with new prayers. Monks maintained the temple, even as the empire that built it disappeared. This continuity is one reason Angkor Wat is so well preserved compared to other temples. While the city of Angkor fell silent, Angkor Wat remained alive. Still, the mysteries linger. Why was it built facing west? How were millions of stones moved and fitted so precisely? What rituals were carried out in its hidden chambers? And perhaps most haunting, how did a civilization capable of such engineering genius collapse so completely that for centuries the ruins seemed to belong to another world entirely? Modern archaeology continues to peel back the layers. LiDAR has shown that Angkor was far larger than anyone suspected, with suburbs and industrial zones hidden under forest canopy. In 2010, conservators found faint paintings beneath soot in the upper galleries, murals of celestial scenes and divine beings. In other temples nearby, tunnels and spiral canals have been uncovered, hinting at symbolic meanings we still don't understand. Every discovery makes Angkor less simple and more mysterious. Standing at Angkor Wat today, it's impossible not to feel the weight of centuries. The moat reflects the sky like a mirror. The towers rise black against the sunrise. Tourists gather for the iconic photograph, yet even in the crowd, silence falls. The temple was built to inspire awe, and it still works. Its stones whisper of kings and gods, of rituals lost to time, of a civilization that dared to map the universe in architecture. Angkor Wat is more than history. It is a reminder of what human beings can achieve when ambition, faith, and imagination combine. It shows us that civilizations rise and fall, but their dreams can outlast them. It is a riddle carved in sandstone, one that has endured for nearly a millennium and will likely endure for centuries more. If you enjoyed this journey into the mysteries of Angkor Wat, don't forget to like and subscribe. I would greatly appreciate it. And as always, thanks for watching. Take care.